Oh, it's always about you, innit? God, bloody hell. Honestly. Tell us your life story, why don't you?
Hello, you're joining us for episode 49 of Podemup. We've got our first Sega Saturn game, Burning Rangers, in the book club this month, plus Sports Story, XCOM, GoldenEye and more.
Burning.
Noise detected. Reaction on fuel sensor. February chamber fully loaded. Transfer unit setup completed. Good luck.
Hello, welcome back to episode 49 of the Podemup podcast. My name is Ollie. I'm joined by Tibbs. Hello, Tibbs.
I'm Tips, hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am okay.
A bit robotic this month?
Yes.
Okay. So we got it's episode 49, nearly the big 5-0.
Yeah.
Just before that, we're going to talk about Burning Rangers this month for the Sega Saturn. What have you been playing other than that this month, then?
Well, it's going to put Burning Rangers in the shade a little bit, to be honest, because what I've been playing something a little bit special.
Oh, have you? Go
Yeah.
on then. Yeah.
I've been playing
I'm all ears.
50 Cent, Blood in the Sand.
Okay. Didn't expect you to say that.
No.
Okay, what's that then?
Well, 50 Cent, the famous rap artist and performer,
Yeah.
he's over in the Middle East somewhere doing a show.
Uh-huh.
He comes off stage, everyone loved it, everyone's having a great time. So he comes off stage, goes to get his money, the guy ain't got the money. So 50 Cent is obviously very aggrieved by this. And he demands payment. So the guy goes, well, listen, I ain't got your money, but I'll tell you what I have got. I've got this skull covered in diamonds. So you can have that if you want. So
Right.
50 Cent goes, that's not what I agreed for, but, I'm a fair man. I'll take the skull covered in diamonds. So he takes the skull covered in diamonds. He's making his way back to the airport. Gets hijacked. Someone nicks the
no.
skull,
Oh, you don't need that, do you?
You
Come
don't need that. That's the last thing you
No.
want.
No.
So he then just goes on a campaign of violence and bloodshed to get his skull back. And that's it. That's the game.
That's all you need to know. What's
Yeah.
this on?
This is on. I played it on PlayStation 3.
Okay.
I'm not going to blame 50 Cent Blood in the Sand for this happening. But my PlayStation 3 did actually die after I finished the game.
Oh, did it? Oh no, I
Yeah.
just couldn't take it anymore.
Yellow light of death.
No.
It was too epic, I think, if anything.
couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle
just-
the 50 cent.
Couldn't keep up. So
Oh no.
yeah. So there we go. Yeah.
Well, at least it waited until. Did you say you finished it and then it died?
I finished it. Oh yeah.
Oh, at least
yeah,
it
I
had.
finished it.
It waited until you finished it. Yeah.
A story as epic as that deserves to be finished.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually it's not a bad game. It's daft. It's paper thin plot.
Well, it's like a third-person just
It's
action game.
a
is it?
third-person action game shooter. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You just shoot everyone who pops up, and then that's it, really.
I was going to say possessed you, but not. I don't mean that. I mean what possessed? All right, what possessed you to play this in the first place?
I have absolutely no idea. I had it. I got the disc of it, and I don't know where
Yeah.
it came from. I probably got it in like a when I did buy it like a little stack of games, like 5 or 10 games off for a guy in work, and I think it might have been among that. So it's just on my shelf. I was like, what is that? I'm just going to put that in. I'll play it.
And you ended up finishing it.
I ended up finishing it. I mean, I think it only took about 4 hours. To be fair, it's not
right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've played worse things. It doesn't take itself very seriously.
No,
at
it doesn't
all.
sound like it.
Yeah, it's something else. Yeah, so I played that. I've also played XCOM, Enemy Unknown.
Right. Yeah. I hear about this game all the time. I don't really know much about it.
I didn't know much about it either. I don't know what prompted me to play this. It's a strategy game, which I don't usually play strategy game. I can't think of it. I can't think of a single strategy game I played really. Maybe a bit of Command and Conquer back in the day, but I was rubbish at it.
I know you've done Herzog Zwei on the podcast.
Oh yeah, I was rubbish at that as well.
Yeah.
And keeping up with that, I was rubbish at XCOM. But I finished it.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I finished it. I sort of restarted the game a few times, but basically aliens come down to Earth. Start acting up. Kidnapping people, abducting them, probing them, the usual stuff. So XCOM is Extraterrestrial Command, and it's like a organization that all the countries of the world have got together and getting this crack team of extraterrestrial commando exterminator guys to, kick the aliens back into touch and send them packing.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of a turn-based strategy game. You got like a team of soldiers. You get I think you start with 4 soldiers in a team, and as you progress through the game, you can expand that to 6, and you've got like different classes. You've got like a heavy one who's just got all the heavy weapons. He's a bit bulkier, and a sniper and a medic, and you've got all the different classes, and you take turns. You move your characters around the map. The aliens make their moves. You make your moves. The aliens make their moves, and yeah, you try and kill all the aliens. It's quite good fun. Like I said, I was rubbish at it, because if you if you do poorly enough, some countries will withdraw their support from the XCOM project, and if you get more, I think it's 5 or more or 6 or more countries. If they pull out, then that's it. It's game over. Each country's got like a panic level, and as more alien attacks happen, the panic level goes up. By help, you can do missions in that country as they crop up, and if you're successful, the panic level goes down a bit. And you can also reduce the panic levels by launching satellites over that country.
Okay.
It's a good time. It's a good time. I enjoyed it.
Would you say it's a good one if you haven't played RTS games much?
Yes, I would say so, because, like I say, I haven't. I mean, Herzog Zwei was probably the last time I played a strategy game, and I was terrible at it. Yeah. So I'm going into it as someone with absolutely, practically no strategy game experience at all. And yeah, like I say, it was frustrating at first. There was a bit of a steep learning curve, and I did restart the game probably 3 or 4 times until I really got in the swing of it and understood what was going on and started to get the feel of the different tactics and stuff you could use. But once it all clicked in place, it was fine. And I've actually picked up XCOM 2 now, so I'm starting to go through that. So that'll be my next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I quite fancy an RTS. I quite like the idea of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think RTS games I tend to find, like I say, I remember playing Command and Conquer, and there was another game called Zed with these little red robots. I had a demo of it, and that was rock solid. That was so difficult. I was just so bad at it. But I think the turn-based nature of this, rather than being real-time...
Oh, it's turn-based.
It's turn-based, yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds like it lays it out a bit more
Yeah, it's a
more
lot
easily.
easier to get into, and a lot easier to you've got more time to sort of think, and you don't have to think on your feet as quickly as you
But
would
that's
with.
that's what I struggled with when we did Herzog Zwei, and I did have Command and Conquer on the Saturn actually, and I did play that quite a bit. But I did. It's like the stress of that they're building up their bases and like coming towards you, and
Yeah.
it's just that it's that sort of time factor where you got to get everything ready in time and do everything right. And I always struggle with that. I always crack under the pressure of getting my men in the right places and all that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
the turn-based
exactly.
sounds a bit nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, it is turn-based. There's a couple of irritating sort of things. I suppose it just comes with the territory of strategy games. So, like, say, each soldier on your team, you can move twice per turn. So you can move a certain distance in a radius around your soldier, and that will count as one of your moves for that turn.
Hmm.
Or you can dash a little bit further, and that would use up both your moves. Um, or you can use an attack, so you can, if there's an enemy in range, you can fire your weapon at them or throw a grenade or something. If you fire your weapon, it will show you the percentage how likely it is you're going to hit them.
Hmm.
So they could be a bit further away, and it will say you've only got like a 23% chance of hitting them. So it's a case of, do you want to take that chance and, you know, vanquish a potentially nasty little enemy who's going to cause problems for you, but it's only got like a 23% chance of hitting, or do you play it safe and get to cover or something like that? But sometimes you'll be in a situation where you've got like you're right next to the enemy, and it says you've got like a 87% chance of hitting them. So you think, oh, that's 87% chance.
Yeah.
I'll take it, and it misses, and
Hmm.
it's so frustrating. And there's other times where if one of your team is killed or knocked unconscious or critically wounded, they can die or they can be critically wounded, where they're basically out of the game, and you've got like 3 or 4 turns to get to them and give them a med pack to sort of stabilize them, and then
Yeah.
they can pop up again on the next mission. Um, I lost my train of thought there. What was I saying? I That's mental. I'm gonna go mad.
You have to get the meds to the guys before
Yeah.
they
What? What?
go,
What?
I suppose.
What the point was? Yeah. Why? Why did I?
Yeah, I've lost your original
I've
point.
lost it. I've lost it.
We could stop the recording and rewind and
Why just
get
stop
it
the
back again.
recording? Let's just stop
Stop
the
now.
recording. We'll
Stop it
pack it
there.
up. Right. That's it. Next, podemup.live. No. What was I saying? I don't know. It's gone. It's a good game. It's got aliens in it. You shoot them.
Yeah, I think you've given it quite a good overview by the sounds of
Yeah.
it. It sounds quite interesting. If I ever see it on like a good deal or something, I might even have it already. Do you know?
I had it already. I think I got it on Steam,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work very well with the Steam Deck, I found.
Okay.
But I also had, I think it was one of the games with gold on Xbox at some point,
Hmm.
because I had it in my Xbox library, and I definitely didn't buy it because it's not the sort of game I would buy. So it must have been on a Games with Gold thing at some point.
I reckon I've got it on Epic Games at some point because they do like
Mm.
a free game every week. I reckon I've picked it up on there. I'm sure I
Yeah,
have. So yeah,
yeah,
that sounds really good.
it's well worth giving a go.
Mm.
It's quite a good time.
Yeah.
And I also played Spelunky.
Oh right, yeah. Cool.
Have you played Spelunky?
I've played it a bit, yeah, a long
I'm
time
rubbish at
ago.
that as well. I'm really bad at it. Really, really
Yeah.
bad at it.
Well, that was I played it when I didn't understand what a rogue like was, which is
Yes,
what it is
it
really,
is.
and
Yeah,
I just hadn't encountered that sort of game before, and I just couldn't quite work out why I was dying, and then all the level was different again
yeah.
because it like it sort of rearranges it.
Yeah, every time you play it, it's
It's
sort of procedurally generated.
yeah,
Isn't it?
that's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, and that kind of threw me, and I thought, well, what? This is a bit weird. I just couldn't get my head around it, so I stopped playing. Um,
It's a fun little game, little platformer
yeah.
game. You just got to pick up the treasure, get to the end of the level, basically.
Mm.
But there's all different traps and things in there. Um, I got through. I made it to the jungle level, which is there's like the first. I think there's 4 stages per level. There's like so you get the mines, which is the where you start, and you get like mine 1, mine 2, mine 3, mine 4, and then it went to the jungle level.
Mm.
That's where I stopped. I was just too bad at it. I was getting frustrated, but yeah, played that. That's all I played.
Okay, cool. I've been doing a little bit of spending this month, actually. I shelled out for a new graphics card for my computer. Yeah, so I got an NVIDIA RTX 3060, if that means anything to anybody out there. Yeah, it's a bit of a step up. What did I have before? A GTX 1050, and I think the first number is like the generation of it, I think, as far as I could work out, and then like the 60, it's like 50, 60, 70, 80. So it's a sort of it's a good mid-range card at the moment. It can play. I'm led to believe it can play pretty much anything at 1080 at 60 frames per second, probably.
Yeah, probably.
So I've tried it on Sonic Frontiers. That runs beautifully now. It's it's perfect. Red Dead Redemption 2, pretty much 60. It drops a bit actually. That does, but I think the settings are at full. I could always turn them down a bit, but I mean it's fine. It's beautiful, really. So yeah, I had to get a new power supply for that just to support it, and I chucked in another stick of RAM as well while I had the PC open. So yeah, I've been doing a little bit of spending, but it's worth it. Yeah, I'd say I would like to think it's kind of on par roughly with a next gen console now, I suppose.
I'd say probably, yeah. Because I think the RTX ones are ray tracing. They all support
They're ray
tracing, don't they?
That's right. Yeah. So
I'm not a fan of ray tracing, but it's good if you got it, I suppose.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought, why not? I had a little bit of money sort of come in unexpectedly, so I thought I'd blow it all on that basically.
Yeah.
I meant to do it at some point anyway, and it was something I was thinking about a lot, and it just kind of happened really. It just found its way into my basket, but there you go. So yeah, I've been testing a few of the sort of the higher, more demanding games on that lately. I've also been playing on the Switch. I've been playing a bit of Sports Story, which is the sequel to Golf Story.
Oh, I never played Golf Story. It's one of these ones I always meant to pick up, but I never got around to it.
Well, it was like an early Switch sort of indie darling, wasn't it? Because kind of quite early on, before the Switch had a lot going on in its eShop, and it's still a Switch exclusive, and so is the sequel actually, which is unusual really. But Sports Story, I don't really like it as much, to be honest. I'm not getting on with it, and that is a kind of an opinion that is shared by a lot of people, unfortunately. It's kind of been in a bit of development hell for a while. It's supposed to come out in 2020. It's finally come out. It came out on Christmas Eve, I think. It was sort of surprised. We knew it was coming December, and I was sort of waiting for it all December because I was quite looking forward to it. So it suddenly came out on Christmas Eve, so I downloaded it. I think it's just lost its way a bit. It's got a bit confused about the structure of things. So Golf Story had sort of a mixture of top-down golf and RPG stuff. So you would kind of wander around and talk to people and do like little fetch quests and things. But the golf was really fun. The story and the characters were great. There's the essence of that still in Sports Story, and Sports Story adds a load of other sports as well. But I haven't hardly been able to play any of them yet. I've been playing it for about 2 hours, and I played like a bit of volleyball, and that's about it. Like the rest of it is quite all these sort of fetch quests, and they're just a bit. I don't really know how to describe it, but they're not organised very well. Like I'm in this sort of large area, this sort of field, kind of country area, and there's various characters who've got different issues. And you've got to solve them in the right order to progress. So if you solve one character's issue, that'll open up the door to solve another one. So you've got to do these things in a sequence. And the first one had a bit of that, but it wasn't too much. This just seems like quite bogged down in it so far. And I kind of just want to try out the sports, but I was looking at some reviews, and they're saying it takes a while before you even get to these things that it's sort of promoting as you can do all these different sports in the game.
Yeah.
But you don't seem to get them until much later on.
Yeah.
And there's something, it is hard to put my finger on, but things just don't quite make sense. Like you don't know why you're doing these tasks. I don't know why I'm in this field thing. I don't know why I've got to do these different things. Like it's not well explained. There's a story. Apparently you can sort of glitch your way into this hidden room wasn't supposed to be, that someone made but wasn't supposed to be accessible in the game, where you go into this room and there's like a development studio of people working on a game. It's like a parody of the game that they're working on. And they're on the like development hell basically, and they're saying, we could have released this game by now if we'd focused on the core features instead of adding new ones and things like that. So these characters are arguing with each other about getting the game done versus things going wrong and all sorts of things, and it lends a bit of insight into what might be going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
that's sort of led to this happening, really. It's a shame, really, when games get stuck in that state, because you feel like they get to a point where they just have to release it whatever state it's in. You can tell it's just lost its way a bit, maybe too many cooks, because it must be difficult to make a game, especially a sequel, quite often. Because...
Well, yeah, I mean, like I say, I haven't played Golf Story, but I can see where. Well, I think I see what the idea behind Sports Story. It's like, okay, well, we did golf in the first one. What can we do? We can't just do golf again. So add a few more different sports in there, and I can see how that could. It starts as a good idea on paper, but I can see how that could easily balloon out into making a project a lot more difficult than you expect it to be when you embark on it.
Yeah, and sort of deciding what to focus on in terms of the first few hours of gameplay. Like I'm really sort of stuck in this sequence of fetch quests that I don't really want to do. That I just kind of want to get through this bit, and it's just you can see how they kind of got mixed up in all this. How they kind of, I don't know how to describe it really, but
yeah,
it's a shame, because I was really looking forward to it. I was looking forward to just because I really enjoyed like the golfing in the first one, because I'm not a big golfer, but I've been playing a lot of golf on that Switch Sports as well, which I talked about last month, which you still playing a lot of.
It's funny. I quite like golf games, but you couldn't pay me to watch golf on the telly.
No, me neither. It seems quite boring, but there's quite it's
just
as gameplay mechanics.
Slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's nice.
As game mechanics, they work quite well, and they work really well in Golf Story. I really liked it, and I was hoping to do just a bit more of that, really. Even though there's all these other sports that I did want to try. But even the volleyball one that I tried briefly, which was sort of a side thing, you didn't even have to do it, just sort of there. And I found those mechanics really confusing. I couldn't work out how to play that at all, so I just sort of left that alone and hoped to find another sport, which I didn't. So it strikes me that even the new sports themselves might not even be that good and well implemented. So it's a shame, because it's been getting quite sort of 50-60% reviews. They're saying that there's a good game under there. It's just it's just not come out the way it should have done. And it's actually it's like a 2D top-down sprite-based game, right? The Switch shouldn't have any problems handling that, and it's a Switch exclusive as well, so it's made for the Switch, yet it has these technical issues, like you're lining up a shot, because you do have, when you're going around, you've got a basic golf mechanic, like you can tee off anywhere and you just hit your ball at like a bonus feature or something. When you're doing that and lining up the shot, you get like these frame rate drops and slowdown and like these awkward controls and things. And it's just, that shouldn't be happening. I mean,
not really. No, I mean,
I don't think it happened in the first one. It's the same mechanic, so I don't quite know what's happened there.
No, I mean, if all the the Switch hardware is getting a bit long in the tooth now, but I mean, 2D stuff is what it excels at, really.
Exactly. Yeah, I like to play 2D games on the Switch. That's my preferred place to play them. But it's just, I don't know what's happened there, really. And there's lots of little things like that. Just slight little things like when characters are talking and sometimes the camera jumps between them. It jumps them very suddenly. Like you want like a little animation there, like a little sort of tween thing to go between them. But no, it just sort of jumps, and it's a bit awkward and a bit off center sometimes. And it's little things like that make me feel like this isn't fully baked yet, even though you've had years and years on it. It's just, it's a shame. I don't really know what's happened.
It's a shame, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been playing. I don't think I'll play much more of it, to be honest, because I'm kind of just a bit stuck and a bit bored of it. But I don't know. I feel a bit guilty, but I don't have time to waste playing games that aren't any good, really. So I might park it. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for that.
Yeah, the only other thing I've been playing the last couple of evenings, which I've enjoyed much more, I've gone back to Star Fox Adventures.
Oh, right, okay.
Which I've been emulating, because before I originally played it on I played it on the Wii actually, but it's a GameCube game.
Yeah.
And this was a few years ago. I picked it up right at the start of when I started collecting games as kind of a hobby, which was in about 2015. And I was playing it on sort of regular doses for quite a while, and I got about 75% of the way through, and I sort of lost touch with it, really. I think when we moved house mainly, I didn't sort of pick it up after that. But I've always meant to get back to it, and it's before I upgraded my PC, it emulated just about okay, but there was a few frame rate drops. But now it's working perfectly, and it looks beautiful at 1080p. So I've been playing it on that for the last couple of nights. It's great. I really love Star Fox Adventures. It's really good. It's like it's not a Star Fox game. It's a Zelda game, really, like that Zelda type game. But it's good fun. The puzzles and things, and going around talking to people and stuff. It's
I never finished it. I played it. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I think people just, I don't know how good an idea it was. I think people would appreciate it more and would look back more fondly on it if it was just released as Dinosaur Planet
Exactly.
and didn't have the Star Fox demo. I think they kind of,
it's a bit shoehorned into the Star Fox
Yeah.
world, isn't it? Really.
yeah,
I can see maybe why they did it to
Yeah,
increase sales, but I
maybe,
think
yeah.
it would have stood better as its own IP, really.
Yeah,
but,
definitely. Definitely, because I think that you stick a name like Star Fox on there, it comes with sort of an expectation of what it's going to be,
yeah,
and people didn't, they didn't get that, and I think that's, yeah. I think if it was, in an alternate universe where it was released as Dinosaur Planet, then it's probably, given a bit more of a fair go by people. But yeah, I enjoyed what I played of it. It's a great little game.
yeah. I think if you like Zelda games, it's not quite on that level, but it's good. It's a good way to spend your time. Really, it's well done. It looks great for a game. I think it was a GameCube launch title, or very soon after.
I think
the
it was
launch.
very early. Yeah,
But it looks amazing. It looks really good. Like it's got widescreen option as well, so it doesn't look out of date at all. Really, the graphics look great, especially emulated at 1080p. But it's fantastic. Give it a try. I'd recommend it really. But that's all I've got really. And I don't think I've really got any news. I don't know if you have.
I don't think I've got any news really. I'm sure there's been news happening in the world of games, but I can't think of anything major that's popped up that we have to talk about.
No, you haven't given that GoldenEye release a go this weekend, have you?
No, I haven't. No,
No, I haven't.
No, because I don't know if my Nintendo Online subscription, I don't know if that's renewed or not. I don't know if it's still active or not. Because apparently it's free on the Nintendo Online thing, isn't it?
It's for the Primo level, the N64 and
is that
the Mega Drive level. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought because if you've got the Rare Replay on Xbox, there's a free update to that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's quite cool.
But not if you bought the disc version.
That sucks.
If you bought the digital version, you get the free upgrade. If you bought the disc version, nothing for you.
Why is that then? That's stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Rare put a tweet out about it. Some licensing malarkey, but I don't understand what the licensing could be. It's the same game on a disc that you download, but
supposedly people are having issues with it anyway. Like this.
Yeah. I saw Modern Vintage Gamer did a video sort of going over it, and it could have been a lot better than it was. Apparently, it's all emulated, and the emulation is it's got problems in places.
Well, there's two different versions. The Switch and the Xbox are two different versions, I think, aren't they? And the Switch is the only one that has the online multiplayer, which I suppose is a selling point. But I mean, I really like the one that they made and didn't release a few years ago.
I know. It's exactly what Modern Vintage Gamer was saying. Because that one was ported from the original source code. It's no emulation.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of thought that that would form the base of the new one, but they've just gone for emulation instead.
I think again it was weird. There's all sorts of weird licensing issues. It's a miracle it's come out at all, really. To be honest, I never thought it would. But I mean, there's all sorts of things apparently that they couldn't do, like they couldn't mess with it too much. I read briefly somewhere. So
it's just a minefield, really, because it's a Nintendo. It was a Nintendo game by a company that's now owned by Microsoft using the intellectual property from James Bond, and it's just there must be so much legal stuff behind the scenes. It's just unbelievable, just nightmare. So it's a miracle it's playable at all.
Okay,
but no, I didn't pick it up. So. No,
I'm intrigued to find out what it's like, but
I think playing it online with your friends and stuff might be good,
I think that's quite a good idea if that works well. But I think they haven't done much with the controls. Like I think a lot of people are struggling with the whole the C buttons for like strafe left and right, didn't you? And they haven't really adapted that. I think there's a way around it that you can improve them, but I think they haven't quite adapted it to like modern twin stick, shooter controls.
No, but if you wanna play the way it was intended, you can always go online and buy one of the N64 controllers for the Nintendo Switch. Currently going for about $225 on eBay. So
What? Really?
yeah,
What? So they've stopped? Have they stopped selling them
I think they're
properly? And they've.
I think they're just sold out, and people are scalping them like mad on eBay.
Oh, for God's sakes!
Yeah, Nintendo 64 Switch Online controller, $224.99, all best offer, and makes you sick. The guy says 14 sold already.
Yeah.
He sold
dear.
14.
It's 14 of them. I mean, if you were that desperate for it, you'd have bought it in the first place, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, not only that, for that price, you could buy an N64 and 4 controllers and GoldenEye.
Yes, you could. Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Anyway.
I feel like we should make up some news because it doesn't feel like we've had a long enough portion of the show.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's some stuff at the end that I need to just. It sounds really serious. It's not serious at all. There's just some extra stuff coming at the end of the show after we talk about Burning Rangers, which will fill in any missing time. I think. So
Okay.
I think we can plough on.
Okay, let's do it then.
Yeah. Okay. So Burning Rangers is our game. It's our first ever Sega Saturn game that we're going to be talking about in the book club, and we're going to be talking about it right after the break.
And the break is now.
The break is now.
The Video Game Book Club.
Who's the one for you to count on? Won't turn from danger from now on. Accept the burning ranges that's strong. Check for yourself, see if the facts wrong. They're ready for trouble on this platform, so they're violating, get your back torn. Out of darkness, rise to justice. God to save lives, decide to strike this. Roughness, but into the tight wrist. Blows and combos, started with my fist. Just a seem that prepared to set. To what? To how it is to proceed to step. To the next phase and to the next stage. Giving nightmares like what's craved. So violators, you best make way for real troopers like what future say.
Who are they? Where are they coming from? Risking their own lives. Only one thing we know. They always with us fighting for danger. They will never let you down. Don't you lose your hopes now. They will wipe out rage and fire without fear, and they'll light up our future. Don't worry, just believe they will be with you. Hey.
Hello, welcome back. We're talking about Burning Rangers today. This was a game developed by Sonic Team and published by Sega, and to this day it is an exclusive for the Sega Saturn. It's released in February 1998 in Japan, May in the US, and June in Europe. Prices are, might want to take a U-turn.
Well, you could do what I did. I can't tell you where, because I don't want to get them in trouble. But if you do a little bit of searching, you can get a very nice reproduction
Oh,
for £8.50.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. And it works on the... What?
No, you need a console capable of playing backups.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But it's a very nice reproduction. It's got nice printed label, directly printed on the disc, not like not like an inkjet bit of
Yeah.
glued, bit of Pritt stick and glued it on the disc. It's actually printed onto the disc. Nice box, nice reproduction manual.
Okay.
£8.50. So
That's a bargain, isn't it?
yeah, do a little search and you'll find some nice stuff there. But yeah, I think that's a much more reasonable price.
I mean, compared to the legit ones, I mean, in Europe, you're talking about £200 to £300 at the moment.
Yeah.
And in Japan, it's only about £50 and up, but it's all in Japanese,
It's all in
obviously,
Japanese.
and you do need a bit of you might struggle a bit if you don't know Japanese. In the US, Oh dear, you're not in luck, the US, because you have to pay up to £1,000, as far as I could tell, for a US copy of Burning Rangers, which is absolutely insane.
Honestly, I know we this has become a running theme, but I hate what's happened to the used game market,
It's
especially the
dreadful,
retro
isn't
game
it?
market.
It's so
It's really
sad.
disheartening, yeah.
It's awful, isn't it? I mean, I think because the Saturn did even poorer in the US than it did here, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think we did. I think we had it for a bit longer, really. I think that the US didn't care for it at all. I guess that's because the Mega Drive did a bit better here.
Maybe, yeah, maybe
and
I
you-
think Sega had a bit more of a brand, loyalty
It's
over
a bit
here.
feels a bit more established here. I think I've always thought because the NES wasn't as popular here because we had all the other 8-bit computers and things. Nintendo had less of a stranglehold in the UK anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, most people had the Master System. When I was in school, everyone had the Master System or
Yeah,
the Mega Drive. There was a
exactly.
couple of people who had a Super Nintendo, but it was mostly Sega.
Well, that was my experience as well. I mean, and the Master System was barely a thing in the US as well, was it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's this thing in America where, Nintendo is kind of a synonym for video games in general.
Yeah.
Like, old people say, oh, he's been playing the Nintendo, even if it's a PlayStation or something. That was kind of like Sega. Everyone's like, oh, my grandparents or my mum, he's playing the Sega, even if, it's on the computer or something like that. His Sega was the synonym for video games here, I think. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I've mentioned many times before, I had a Saturn. I had this game as well, but I didn't have it when I was, using my Saturn. I bought it in about 2005, I think, on eBay, and that was for about 25 quid. So it's gone up,
Yes.
considerably, 1,000% since then. So, yeah.
I know, we shouldn't talk about games as investments, but as they go,
No.
I mean, that was pretty
That's
good.
not
one, I
bad.
suppose.
That's not a bad one. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one. Yeah, I don't want to sell it though. I quite like it. It's just nice to have on the shelf and
Yeah.
look at and things. So, if you don't know what this is a largely non-violent 3D action game set in a futuristic Earth and surrounding space area, in which you play as a member of a team of firefighters called the Burning Rangers. Each of the 4 levels are set in a fire-ridden disaster zone where the player must rescue trapped citizens and put out fires while exploring corridors, led only by voice communication.
Yes.
And just a little bit of background, the game was produced by Yuji Naka and directed by Naoto Ushima, co-creators of Sonic, as we all know. And they wanted to create a game about rescuing people rather than killing enemies. And it uses the same engine as Knights, which I didn't know, actually. And was among the final 7 games released for the Saturn in America, which accounts for its incredibly high price. Yeah, so how did you get on with this one?
I liked it.
But
It's a me thing. It's a me thing.
okay,
The game's really good, and I'm not usually fussy about frame rates and things like that.
okay.
But I find it a bit hard on the ice.
It's funny you should say that because I'm normally the one who has problems with games running a bit hard on the ice with their frame rates, but I was actually okay with this one, weirdly.
Yeah. It's strange. I think maybe if I didn't, I don't know if emulate, because I know Saturn emulations are still all a bit hit and miss these days. But I wondered if on an emulator maybe with the frame rate would smooth out a bit. Maybe there'd be
Well, I did emulate this just
Okay.
because it was more convenient for me at the time. But and I've played it on the Saturn relatively recently, and I haven't. I thought they were fairly like for like.
okay.
I used the Beetle Saturn core in RetroArch, which is an adaptation of Mednafen,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
that one, which is supposed to be quite a fairly intensive but an accurate Saturn emulator. So I didn't have the increased resolution, which you can get in the Kronos one, which I tried briefly, and that looked amazing, but it was a bit more glitchy. So I stuck with the sort of the more true experience with the Mednafen. But I found the frame rate to be not high, not 60 certainly. It was more like 25 or 30, I think. But I found it generally fairly consistent. There's some underwater bits, which I think it may have dropped a bit. It was hard to tell just because the action might have been a bit different. But I don't know. I didn't struggle with it as much as I thought I might actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but I couldn't play it. I couldn't play it for long bursts. I had to sort of play a bit,
Yeah,
stop a bit, play a bit, stop a bit.
yeah.
But the core gameplay I think is really nice. It's really and for the Saturn, I know the Saturn's got a reputation for not being quite as on par with the PlayStation. But I think it's a really technically impressive game.
Oh, it is. I think it's one of, if not the most technically impressive game on
Yeah.
the Saturn. I think it's sort of on par with the PlayStation experience. I would say
Absolutely, yeah.
it's got some pretty amazing effects in there, and like the general atmosphere of all the levels was really impressive. You've got explosions, you've got transparency, you've got particles all over the place.
Yeah, yeah.
And it ran,
Floors collapsing.
floors collapsing, things breaking away, everything rumbling and shaking. There's a real atmosphere that you really feel like you're in a disaster zone that's about to collapse at any minute. And it pushes the Saturn to its limits. You do get, I think this is quite common in Saturn games, but you do get those sort of missing polygons every now and then, especially around the edges of the screen, which is a bit distracting if you're not used to them, but you kind of get used to them. Really.
You get used to it, yeah.
Yeah, it's things like when you get close to a door, if you move the camera to a certain angle, you can suddenly the door disappears and you can kind of see what's behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of games from that era you get that happens with loads of PlayStation games.
Yeah,
as well,
it does.
You know,
Yeah,
so.
it's not specific to the Saturn.
No.
I just feel like it happens a little bit more on that than the PlayStation, maybe. But I think the thing about the Saturn is they weren't planning to make it a 3D console initially, and then they saw what Sony were doing, and they chucked a load of process and things to make it to sort of botch it into doing 3D. But only the most skilled technical engineers and all the people that had the documentation could get the most out of it, I think, and that's sort of one of the main problems with it, really. But this comes near the end of the Saturn life cycle, and it's pushed it possibly to its limits. We'll never know, really, but it's certainly there. The core sort of gameplay really is there's 4 levels. The objective is to get to the end, obviously, and a story unfolds as you go through. You've got to save various people. There's actually a boss at the end of each level as well, which is surprising given that it's quite sort of an anti-violent thing. But there is a boss to sort of finish it off. But you got to fight. I had the feeling that the levels were a lot bigger than they seemed when I was going through, because you find these people that are trapped and you have to rescue them, but in the menu there's a log of everyone you save, and there's tons and tons of people there that I didn't save at the end. So they must be all hidden there somewhere. There must be like a lot more to these levels, and I did feel like sometimes I went down corridors and then went back and then never went back down there again. So I thought, oh, that's like an extra area, so it's quite, these levels were quite elaborate in their design.
I did find when I was putting my notes together for this, I did find a list of all the names, and I've lost it now because some of the names are really odd.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll find it and I'll interject with some funny names at some point. But yeah,
yeah, too. Okay. So the main hazard really is fire. Reminiscent of our. Wait, this isn't the first firefighting game we've done, actually, is it?
No.
The firemen on the stairs way back in episode 3, I think it was.
I find it funny. It just makes me laugh. It's kind of like the different approach between the developers.
Yes.
Our game is called The Fireman, and you play as some firemen. Our game's Burning Rangers.
Yes. 2 firemen called Pete and Dan, weren't they called, or something like that?
Danny.
And then you've got these sort of futuristic firefighters with their snazzy outfits and their futuristic guns that put out the fire. Yeah, it's 2 very different approaches to fighting fire, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about that, but yeah, you're right. So there's fire that bursts out, and it does this little noise. It goes whoosh, and you have to listen to that noise. That's why you really have to have audio on for this game. It does enrich the experience a lot and makes it a lot easier. But so you need to listen to that little sort of whistling noise. You need to jump back very quickly when you hear that, because a fire is about to burst out. You've got a little gun that puts out fires and things. And I think there was like a sort of a percentage meter, and you need to keep putting out fires to keep the percentage down, because if it goes high enough, explosions go off everywhere, I think. And I kind of lost lives.
Yeah.
And you've got to go around and find trapped survivors. When you put out fires, you get these little red diamond collectibles, and you need to use those to sort of pay for the survivors to be teleported out. So that's kind of like the gameplay loop, really. That's what accounts for a lot of what you're doing.
Yeah, you got to earn the crystals, gems, and is it 5 per person?
It varies. I think later on you do get they do cost more.
Yeah.
The sort of jumping mechanics were quite impressive, really. There is a bit of Sonic Team flair to them, isn't there? Like, it's not just a simple jump, a bit like what's it called, Vince from the Voodoo Vince from last time. It's kind of like you can jump in all sorts of crazy directions. You can jump quite high and quite far. You've got these little boosters to sort of do a double and sometimes even triple jump. It felt like they can be a bit tricky to get the hang of. Certainly when you get to stage 4, there was a really tricky platforming bit where I fell down quite a lot, but in the most part it controlled quite well, I thought. I didn't have too many problems with it after a while. Anyway, after getting used to the way it worked.
Yeah, once you get used to it, I think I don't know if it supports, because I don't have one. But the little analog controller. For the
right, you don't. Oh yeah, the Knights one. Yes, it does. Yeah, so it's ideal for that, really.
I'm gonna say I think it could really do with analog control. I was just playing it with the stock Saturn pad, so...
Yeah, I think the analog would be a lot better. I just played it with my regular, obviously, Xbox controller because I was emulating it. But certainly, if you've got an analog stick,
I would say it's probably a must. If it supports it, then that would be the way to go. Yeah,
I think all games really support it because it just maps to the buttons. I think I can't think of a game that I've tried with where it doesn't work. But anyway, that's by the by. So you've got to find your way around these quite big levels, and there's no map, so you need to call on your sort of navigator lady, who's called Chris. And I found this quite accurate, really, because wherever you are, you can just press the X button, I think it is, and she will tell you the direction to move in. She will say go forward or go left and right a bit.
It's mostly accurate. She sent me wrong a few times.
Yeah, sometimes it was a bit. It depends where you are, but considering that's quite a difficult, to almost have like a GPS thing, a sat nav at that time for these levels. I thought it would handled really well. Like I would be completely lost sometimes, and I would call on her, and she would just go through there and be like, oh right, okay. So that was quite an interesting thing to use that instead of a map. Was really quite a sort of immersive thing as well. I thought you really in general you really felt like part of this team. Like you get their voices chopping in. There's 4 members of the team. You can choose between 2 of them. You can choose Sho and Tillis. They're 2 rookies in the team, and there's 2 other guys there who are, I've got their names here because one of them is definitely worth.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a one of Randman or something.
Yeah, hang on. I've got loads of notes here. Let me just find it.
Big Randomman.
Big Randomman. No, it's... where is it? Oh, this is annoying. Okay, so yeah. So one of them is called Reed Phoenix. He's the kind of snarky one that doesn't seem very nice, really. He's always kind of putting you down. Old Reed Phoenix. And then the other guy, the big guy, is called Big Landman. What should we call this guy? Big? He's big. Let's call him Big. Landman. Big Landman. Yeah, not the only Sega character to be called Big either, of course.
No, of course.
Yeah, Big the cat. Yeah.
Big the cat.
Yes, so they're all sort of chiming in, and they're kind of saying, they're in there as well somewhere. Sometimes you bump into them, and they're doing their thing, and they're going down a different route, saving some people there, fighting off something else. And they're kind of keeping you updated, and you really feel like part of a team that's kind of attacking this problem and trying to solve it and trying to get these people out. The voice acting was quite good for the era, I thought, as well.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
On Wikipedia, they sort of summarised some old reviews. Some people were complaining about it at the time, but I think, especially when you consider the next game that, say, the Sonic team put out is Sonic Adventure, the voice acting is much better than that in this, I think. So it is good. I liked it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
Considering how voice heavy it is, it's good.
Did you get any? Because it ranks you on how well you do on each level. Did you manage to get any S ranks?
No, I didn't get anywhere near an S. I don't think. No. I think it's one of those things because it's not a long game. I got to the end and it only took me about 2 to 3 hours, I think. And there's only 4 stages, and they take 45 minutes each, say, up to that.
But
half an hour. and you do get a ranking at the end, a bit like Knights. And
I never got a good ranking in Knights either.
no, me neither. Knights is a whole different beast. You've got to do all sorts of crazy things to get a good ranking in that. But it does have that replayability, I suppose. I mean, the levels aren't exactly pick up, just to have a short burst on them. But if you've got the time and commitment, you could go around saving lots of other people by the look of it and finding different ways. I feel like there was a lot more to the game that I didn't explore. And also because you've got two different characters, the players, and they have different dialogue throughout. I'm guessing you get almost a different sort of story depending on who you pick.
Yeah.
I guess it seemed that way to me. Because I sort of alternated between them depending on what level I was doing, just to balance them out. Really, they play exactly the same, but sort of story-wise, I think it probably changes.
Right, hang on. I've found the survivor list.
Okay, go on.
Prince Lemon.
Okay.
Prince Lemon is on there. Brown Epstein. Who else have we got here? Oh, Yuji Naka.
Yuji Naka's got to be in there. He's got to have his little cameo in. Yeah.
Yeah. What else have we got? There was some other funny ones on there. John Sweet.
It's a nice name.
Yeah, it's a funny list in there. Betty Forrest.
Betty Forrest, that's a good name, isn't it? Betty Forrest, yeah. I like these names. They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also send you emails at the end, don't they?
Yeah, they
when
do.
When you've saved them, you go back to the menu screen and you say, "Oh, you got some new emails," and they send you an email saying, "Oh, thanks for saving me. That was great. I want to be just like you as a Burning Ranger." It's quite nice actually. I thought it was quite a nice little touch. Just makes you feel a bit more heroic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got some anime cutscenes. Well, cutscenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Between the levels, it's sort of like it makes you think it would work quite well as a TV show. I think really, it just looks quite good.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think because I think there's a mileage to it to make another game or a remaster or a sequel or a reinterpretation of it these days. I think.
Yeah, I mean.
I guess.
I don't want to be like the negative guy all the time, but it's just I'm going to end up putting the boot into Sega again.
Yeah, I thought you might.
It's just another one of these franchises that have just been left.
Yes, it is.
Why?
I would. I mean, as much as I am a Sonic fan and I love Sonic games, I would love Sonic Team to have a crack at something else,
like
they used to, because this their output here sort of between sort of the in that sort of decade, the second half of the 90s and the first half of the noughties, where they were putting out these occasional other games. They're all really good, really inventive, and they all had a similar sort of style to them, didn't they? Like that sort of Sonic-esque kind of athleticism about them.
Well, yeah, and I could see an argument for things like, say Panzer Dragoon Saga is the other sort of big Saturn game that's never found its way elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I could see an argument for, because I don't know if Sega, is that a first-party Sega title?
I think it is. I don't know, because Panzer Dragoon has been remade, the first one. But Sega doesn't seem to be involved in that. It seems that it doesn't have their name in any of the opening credits or
well, let's say for the sake of argument that Sega own the IP for Panzer Dragoon Saga, and it's this game that everyone talks about that's only on the Saturn, it's never got released. I could see an argument for them not wanting to do that because it would be too niche, and it's going to be a hard sell for people. I don't think Burning Rangers would be. I think that you could release Burning Rangers as it is now, on just like a classic re-release on the Switch, for instance, or the Xbox Live Store, that kind of thing. I think it would do well. You wouldn't, and it's got so much potential for a sequel. I really don't know why it's been left on the shelf.
Yeah, like the characters are likable. Yeah. They look really cool. They've got these sort of color-coded outfits, very futuristic, very kind of. It's got quite a nice message about kind of saving people and kind of almost kind of an environmental theme as well in there somewhere. Maybe I'm just making that up. I mean, certainly things you could adapt these and work on these if you wanted to embellish it and expand it into a proper new game.
Definitely.
Or take it in a different direction, but there's so much there, really. I can't think of many other games that are quite like this.
No.
Have this flavour to them. And it is a shame that it's just sort of been sitting there, not even being ported.
Not even ported,
and ludicrously expensive as well. If there's a game that needs to be brought back into modern consoles, it's this one really, because it's so hard to get otherwise.
Exactly. It's hard to get hold of, and imagine a sequel where you could do like a co-op thing where like a massive building on fire, and you're at different. I'm at one end of the building, you're at the other end of the building, and we have to sort of coordinate our strategy over the. There's so much you can do.
That would be cool. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Come on,
very
Sega.
Good. Yeah,
come
on, you can do it. Yeah, come on. I mean, they've done it with Knights a little while ago.
Knights has had a couple of. They had they did like a graphical update on the PlayStation 2. They did it on Xbox Live. You can get on Steam now, cheap as chips.
Yeah.
And it had the sequel on the Wii.
It's a sequel, yeah.
So they can do it.
Yeah, they can do it if they pull their finger out and they can do it. I mean, there's a lot of love for these other Sonic Team games as well. Because it's obviously made by that development team. There's a lot of interest in it, a lot of and even if people haven't heard of it, it's the kind of game that I think anyone could enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, but it's still good.
I just wish they'd take a chance on things now and then. Like it's always the same sort of stuff, and I just love them to.
It's like we said with Game Freak when we played Tembo. There's obviously so much untapped creativity there. They've sort of fallen into this treadmill of just putting out Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
It'd be really nice to just see them bust out and do like they did Drill Dozer as well, didn't they?
Yeah, that was Game Freak, yeah.
Yeah, Drill Dozer, Tembo, just do more things.
Yeah, do more things. All companies, all development studios, just do more things.
Do more things.
Do more things, or give the IP to someone who is prepared to do more things.
Yeah,
do it. We had a couple of comments on the game. So this is from @memory_fallen, who is a Burning Rangers account, someone who likes Burning Rangers. He said the Survivor emails were always my favourite. And he says, also, check out the new beta that resurfaced this weekend.
Yeah.
And I think, looking into his tweets, I think I'm assuming it's a he, it might not be a he, but this person has, I think they are the one who's found the prototype and, and given it to Hidden Palace. I think they released it on at the end of last year or the beginning of this year. And it's got like a prototype 2-player versus mode and a co-op mode in it.
Oh, cool.
Which is really
I
interesting.
saw the tweets going around about it from Hidden Palace.
Yeah.
But I didn't get around to checking it out. But
I haven't checked it out either. But it is, it's interesting. But I was looking at some of their notes on it, and they say you can see why it wasn't included in the final one. It's just a bit sort of choppy and a bit underdone. I think it's quite a late beta, so you could see why they took it out. But all that stuff is always interesting to see.
Oh, I love stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's there, and it's in Hidden Palace, I think, somewhere. And friend of the show, Webster, got on this and said he was very excited about this. He says, hell yes, the Sega Saturn can't do 3D. The Sega Saturn can't do transparencies. The Sega Saturn can't play Burning Rangers and then tell me what the Sega Saturn supposedly cannot do. So he's very passionate about this game.
Rightly so as well.
Someone did respond saying, sell well. Which is a bit... Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean,
fair enough. Yeah,
they're not wrong.
They're not wrong, but it's cheap shot.
It did all right in Japan.
It did all right in Japan. Yeah, that was the only place it was successful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I still love it. It's a little underdog.
It is. I mean, because I love the Mega Drive. It was just the natural thing to get a Saturn for me. I didn't even consider getting a PlayStation at the time. It was just like, why wouldn't you get a Saturn if you're a Mega Drive fan? So I just got it. And that's unfortunately not enough people thought that way.
No.
But it's at the time they felt like there was a brief shining moment when they were both first came out that it just felt like Sega Saturn was it briefly.
I think it's what you touched on earlier, really. Sega didn't really... They were asleep at the wheel a bit, and missed the whole, the imminent arrival of 3D gaming.
Oh, yeah.
They just didn't anticipate that being a thing at all, and they were building it all for 2D, and then suddenly had to pivot and try and make something 3D, and they just couldn't. They just couldn't compete with what the other guys were doing.
No, it's well documented, all their sort of mistakes.
Yeah.
After the sort of success of the Mega Drive and Sonic and everything, they sort of went a bit crazy with all the different consoles, the 32X and Mega CD, as well as the Saturn, and they just kind of they lost a bit of control and did things a bit weird, and the left hand wasn't talking to the right hand in terms of the US and Japan and all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
So you can see why it didn't pan out. When Sony were bringing this, behemoth to fight them, really. But yeah, there's you can look into that. There's all sorts of stuff out there about that.
Yeah.
I would say it's also, before we move on, it's also worth shouting out to Andreas Scholl, who's at Andreas Scholl 09. I've talked about this before. I think it was an incoming indie. He's recreated the first level of this with modern graphics and everything. It looks absolutely incredible. It's that one where you need the disc, or you need an ISO of it to run it, to sort of legally do it. It takes that data somehow. It's very clever, and he's done this with a few other Saturn games as well. It's like I think like Christmas Nights he was doing it with as well, and one of the Shining games maybe. It's like taking the source material from these games and just upping the resolution and the effects and the models and things, and just making it look really, really, and just gives you a glimpse of what it might look like if Sega had bothered to do this now.
Sega just hire him.
Just hire. No, that's what I said at the time. Just hire him, and he'll do it. I'm sure I'm speaking for him. I don't know if he'll do it, but I'm sure he can come to an arrangement.
Just tell him Ollie said you're up for it, mate.
Yeah. So I hear you're up for this. I listened to a podcast. They say you're up for doing a whole entire game.
The Podemup podcast. Who?
They're pretty big cheeses in the world of podcasts. I'm surprised.
Kind of a big deal,
Kind of a big deal, yeah. Okay, so but any closing comments you want to make about the game?
No, I
think we've kind of said everything.
I think we said that. Well, it's very good.
Yeah.
If you buy it, there's not a single person in the world that would judge you for buying a reproduction version.
No, do that, or do it in any way you see fit. Frankly,
yes.
I see. Until Sega are prepared to offer it for money, I think you should just do whatever you need to get it, because it is definitely worth a play. Obviously, you have to adjust your modern expectations of how a game from that era runs on the Saturn, but it's perfectly playable. Once you do that, it's perfectly playable. It doesn't have any other issues beyond that, really, and it's just it's good. It's good fun.
It's good.
Very, very good. Right, so next month is the big 50th episode, Tips, isn't it?
It is.
I know, I can't believe it.
That's mad.
So next month we don't yet know the game that we're going to do. We're going to decide that now. It's going to be a sequel to a game that we've already done in the podcast. So what we're going to do is Tips has got 2 picks ready. I've got 2 picks ready. What I'm going to do, Tips, is I'm going to randomise their order. Give them a random number between 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
You are going to say a random number, 1, 2, 3, or 4, at the same time as me giving you the list through our little chat thing, so that we can fairly pick a. Otherwise, you could just say a random number, and I'll just tell you a game that I want to play. So, I thought this was the fairest way of doing it. Go on.
Can I suggest an alternative?
Okay, go on.
Could you go to wheelrandom.com?
Oh, right, yeah.
It's just like a spinny, do you ever watch Wheel of the Worst?
No.
Okay, we should. That's good. But it's you put in the options. It spins the wheel, goes click, 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 click.
Oh,
click,
okay.
click, and it'll stop at 1.
Yeah.
And we could just put the games in that, spin the wheel, and
I like this.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't think of this doing this high-tech way. I thought I'd just write them down and get you to pick a number. But yeah, we could do that. That's not a problem. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't you fire off? Actually, we know the first pick, don't we?
Yeah.
Go on, what is it?
Overblood 2.
Overblood 2. It's funny because I thought about doing that, but I thought Tibbs isn't going to want to play that. Yes. So Over Blood. If you didn't catch it, I think it was in. I don't know the number, but it was when we did the 2 bad games, wasn't it? And that was your pick then for a bad game, and it was. I thought it was all right actually.
It's all right. It's all right.
I don't know. I almost completed it, so it must have been doing something right. It's kind of like a what's it called?
Survival horror.
Survival horror. Yeah, survival horror. But the sequels, I think you said it was completely set in a completely different story. Anyway, wasn't it? Like
it's a different kettle of fish, but
different kettle of fish. Anyway, so that's in there.
Yep.
My first pick is going to be Jet Set Radio Future.
Okay.
Because when we played Jet Set Radio, I liked it. I liked a lot of things about it, but there was just some mechanics that I didn't quite like. And I think I remember you saying that the sequel kind of does away with the bits that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to try it, and I haven't got round to it. So I'm putting that in.
Okay, good choice.
Yeah. So your second pick?
It's Medieval 2.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh no. Right, so I can't believe you picked that. So Medieval is a game that you enjoyed, but I didn't. I perhaps a bit unfair to it because I can see that it's a good game underneath. I just didn't get on with it at that particular time. I just found it really frustrating and really difficult.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to give this sequel a chance. Maybe it improves things in that regard. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So that's your second pick.
Yes. What's your second pick?
Well, my second pick, I've gone for something quite grand here.
Oh.
So it's not a sequel as such, but it is kind of in all but name, really. It's a game that we both really enjoyed, one of our favourite games. It's in 2 parts. We could be playing Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
I thought that would be kind of befitting of episode 50, maybe. And I've played a bit of Chapter 1 actually, but I sort of parked it there, and I thought it would be interesting to play.
Imagine
that.
Imagine if we end up with Overblood 2 and Medieval 2 instead of Deltarune and Jet Set Radio.
Well, I would say we're only going to be doing one of them.
Oh,
we won't do 2 of them because that's I think we'll just, unless you want. Well, do you think it depends what they are, I suppose. But I mean,
I'm going to say let's see what the wheel gives us first, then we can decide.
All right, yeah, okay, fine. So
Right.
I'm going to right. I've got those 3 written out. I just need to add your other ones, which was Medieval 2. Right, I'm going to take these. I'm going to put them in the wheel. Okay, right. I'm going to spin. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Click to spin. Oh, it's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. Oh!
What?
It just missed Medieval 2.
Oh.
And it landed. Hang on. Tell you what. I'll take a screenshot and send it to you. Because I just want your reaction when you see it.
Okay.
Typical. What's going on? Hang on, bear with me.
It's so annoying when Photoshop freezes like that when you're trying to doctor the picture, don't it?
I'm just All right, I'll just tell you, okay? I'll tell you what it's landed on.
Yep.
It's landed on Overblood 2.
Oh, brilliant.
It just missed Medieval 2 by a whisker, and it landed on Overblood 2.
Okay.
So the game. Well, that feels appropriate for episode 50, actually.
Yeah.
I think. So the game we will be playing next month, we will be returning to the wonderful world of Overblood 2. Overblood.
Yes.
With Overblood 2. What was that robot's name? Peebo?
Peepo.
Peepo? Are you still there? Something like that, wasn't it?
Peepo.
Oh yeah, Peepo.
You can make it, Peepo. Self-diagnose.
Okay, so that's
Brilliant.
that's going to be a good one. Overblood 2. Let's do it.
Peepo? Is that all you can say?
Right.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
So that's sorted
that'll
out.
be a good one.
I think we'll just do that one, shall we? Do you want to do another one? I mean, I don't think we can fit that in and say Deltarune.
Do you know what I reckon? I reckon Deltarune is pretty short.
Okay.
I reckon. Let's
do another spin.
do another spin, and then we'll see how we get on with Overblood 2. And we've got a backup plan if we struggle to get enough content out of it.
All right. So here we go. I'm spinning again. Okay. I've taken that one out. It's going to land on.
Medieval?
No, it's landed on Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I think we can fit those two.
I reckon we can do a double bill of that.
Yeah, might take us a little bit longer than. Normal, but we can do that. I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon we could do that. I mean, we've done 2 games in a show before.
Yeah.
So
in fact, we did the first Overblood alongside Rise of the Robots.
Oh yes,
didn't we?
we did. You're right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and double bill for the 50th show.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, sequels special. Overblood 2 and Jet Set Radio Future. That sounds like a show to me.
That sounds like a show to me.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we sorted that out. So, before I get to the socials, as they call it, as the kids are calling it, remember last month I put out a thing saying, come and email me and I'll give you a game and that stuff.
Oh, yeah?
We had one email.
Oh!
We had one email from a lovely person. I think it's a male. But yes, a lovely person. We've actually had an email from him before. Very, very long time ago, all right. This is from Rom, okay? So it says, hello there. I've been listening religiously since the first episode. I listen on the Overcast app for iOS, and I love the show.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ollie is Liquid Shade or something like that from back in the day and runs the Sonic Zone Zero site. Yes, that is correct. That is my site. You never talk about it.
No, you don't, actually.
I don't talk about it. No, it's just because it doesn't come up, really.
Do you know, it's mental. I remember, like, we used to chat on MSN Messenger, and I remember you saying to me one night, like, oh, I want to do a Sonic the Hedgehog site, and it's all going to be, like, all about, like, the design of the levels and a breakdown of all the different themes and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah, and I remember you.
You thought that's never going to happen. He's never going to do that.
Never going to do that. Yeah, good one, mate. Never going to happen. But
yeah,
no,
whatever.
It's
it
turned into, like, quite a success. Really?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, I haven't done anything on it in about 10 years, but it's still there. It's still going. If you want to go see it,
I've seen like YouTube videos recently, like within the last year, that have used like the maps and stuff, and it says credit Sonic Zone Zero and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I have seen them pop up. They even Retro Gamer even featured one for I think that was in Sonic's 20th anniversary. So they put a map of Green Hill on there, and I sent them one without and the annotations on and everything, and they credited me for that. At the same time, Games Master just took one and didn't credit me or didn't ask me. So yeah, they got the less appropriate one for print. But yeah, so that was my website. It's I cover Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and Sonic CD, and I've done like maps and complete level guides and things like that. So that's at soniczonezero.com if you ever wanted to go and check it out.
Yeah. I actually used that when I was playing through Sonic Origins to find all the big rings.
Yes, it certainly comes in handy for that. Yeah, definitely. Yes, whenever there's like, I think when Sonic Mania happened and when Sonic Origins happened and whenever there was like a re-release, I would see a spike in the hits. So where was I?
You were reading the lovely email.
I was, yeah. Never talk about it. Maybe because you don't want to update it. It's true. I don't really want. I don't really want to update it anymore. I just kind of. He does have my number. I did plan to do like every game at one point, but I just kind of it got a bit intense, and I wanted to do some other stuff. But I'm still pretty proud of it. It's probably, one of my most successful project, I suppose. Apart from this show, of course.
Other than podemup, obviously.
Apart from podemup, sorry about that. Yeah. That's understandable, or maybe I'm completely off base on the matter. In that case, never mind. So no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't mind talking about it at all. I love the show and hope you will keep it going for a long time. I think we intend to, Tibbs, don't we? You're not planning on dropping off in the next couple of episodes, are you?
Well, no, not planning to. No.
Oh, good. Well, me neither. So that's good. If I had a request, it would be to include your personal lives a little more. I know Ollie has a daughter, Alice, and she enjoys some games with you. Which games does she like the most? Are Ollie and Tibbs both married? I assume he means not to each other. What do you guys do for work? A personal touch could lend a tiny bit of perspective. Nothing too personal, of course. The internet is full of weirdos. Cheers, mates.
Oh, you don't want to hear anything personal about me. I'm dull as dishwater.
It's
I reset passwords for a living. You don't want to hear about this. IT service desk. You don't need.
Yeah.
If you imagine the bottom rung of the IT ladder, I'm a couple of steps just below that.
Okay. Yeah, we'd best not go down the Tibbs alley. No.
Jeez.
But. Well, I mean, I think these are all things that we've discussed on the show before. But yeah, to say, well, so you work in IT. You're not married, but you do have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And anything else you want to share?
Um,
You don't have to. It's perfectly fine.
It's not that I don't want to. It's just I'm really quite a dull person. I like games.
Oh, really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I do like games. I've just been we starting to sort of dabble with board games as well at the moment.
Cool. Yeah.
Got this board game called Calico, and you got to make a nice quilt for cats. You got. Like each player's got like these different parts of a patchwork quilt. You've got to place them down, and you've got to attract as many cats as you can to your part of the quilt. And there's all different. Like each cat's got its own preferences. So like some cats will only like a pink bit of thing if it's next to two other pink bits of patchwork. So there's a lot of strategy there as well. It's a thinking man's game.
That sounds quite good.
Yeah. So yeah. What else? Oh, I collect pogs.
Do you? Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I do. I still collect pogs.
How many pogs have you got?
I got quite a few pogs. I got all of the series 1 to Pog the World Tour, which was series 3. I got the Space Precinct pogs, the Jerry Anderson Space Precinct pogs.
Oh, okay.
I got the Pog the game, the series of Pog the game. Like I say, I'm dull as dishwater, really. I mean, there's really not much else.
Oh, that's quite interesting. I didn't know these things about you, actually. It's news to me.
No, you go, well, it's personal. You don't go talking about your pod collection to all and sundry.
Any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Yeah.
You got to know someone pretty. You got to be pretty tight with someone before you admit something like that.
Yeah.
But okay. No, I don't specifically avoid talking about anything personal. I think it just doesn't really.
Just doesn't come up. Sometimes,
it doesn't come up too often. I think probably because we've known each other for a while since school, so it's kind of we know a lot about each other anyway. Really, so I guess it's kind of It
just doesn't come up.
It doesn't come up because we already know a fair bit about each other. So I've never really thought about anyone else being that interested in what I get up to, really. But cool. I can certainly we'll certainly take that on board if there's things that crop up to give you a bit of a personal perspective. Then
we'll try and bear that in mind. Yeah. So in answer to my side of things, so what did you say? I know Ollie has a daughter, Alice, and she enjoys some games with you. Which games does she like the most?
It's always about you, isn't it? God, bloody hell! Honestly, tell us your life story, why don't you? No, I just carry on.
Okay. You sure? I don't want to hog the limelight.
No.
So Alice is enjoying a lot of Switch Sports still. I keep having to give her another month's membership of the Nintendo Online thing, just so she can get the you get various costumes and things when you play these games. You sort of get a little bar and you get a new costume and things, and you can only do that really. You can do a little bit without it, but you can only really do it properly with the Nintendo Switch account, which I keep having to top up to her because she still likes playing the game. And they do new costumes every week, so it's an ongoing thing still. But it's we love that game. It's really good. We all play that. She also likes Disney Dreamlight Valley, as does my wife. Have you seen this?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've not played it.
Yeah, it's the buggiest game I've ever seen. It really is. I think it's people like it, and it fills that niche if you're into that sort of thing. If you're, it's a kind of a girls' game, really. I don't want to stereotype it, but it is.
Is it like an MMO type thing, or like a?
It's not online. Although it does keep getting like new content added all the time. It's supposed to still be in early access, but it's kind of on the Switch and everything, and you just kind of wander around. You kind of build this little. It's a bit like a cross between Animal Crossing and like a farming simulator kind of thing. It's got elements of all those kind of currently popular genres and things, and they both like playing that. There's like quests and things. You meet various Disney characters and you bring them back to your little town and things like that. So she quite likes that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, she really likes game. I'm really sort of proud of her from that perspective, because we play games a lot, and she likes finding games and getting into them. She knows how to work all the controls and the menus and things, and it's great to see, really. She's been doing it from quite a young age, so she's just immersed in that sort of gaming world. Gaming's perfectly normal to her.
Yeah, well, I sent you over Christmas. I sent you a couple of games on Steam.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much for doing that.
Oh no, that's all right. I wasn't saying it to elicit the thanks. That wasn't the purpose. But one of the games I picked was Untitled Goose Game, because I thought it might be a game that, because you could do 2-player with that, and I did sort of imagine you and Alice sort of being geese.
Yes,
Out
we
of
need
context,
to get
that would sound like a very odd
being
sentence.
geese. Yes, we do need to get around to doing that. Actually, I did mean to. I haven't done that yet, but we will do that. Yes, definitely.
I thought, because I know she likes watching you play the games, and she likes playing the games. So I thought, try and pick something that you can sort of do together, kind of thing.
I think yes, definitely. I think she will enjoy doing that. I reckon she would enjoy being a goose. So definitely, we need to get around to that. I did think that as soon as I saw it, I thought, I bet we'll enjoy that, and it kind of slipped my mind, I must admit. But we'll get back to doing that. Thank you for reminding me, actually.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, what do I do for work? I make games for kids on like apps and things. So I work for a company that works with like the BBC and Disney and Sky and various companies like that have brands, and they usually, we do lots of other things as well, but typically they will have a brand. So Disney, I'm doing a Mickey Mouse game soon, actually.
Cool.
Which Alice is looking forward to, because she loves Mickey Mouse at the moment. And just like little sort of apps and little web games, HTML5 games for that sort of thing for these brands. So that's what I do, and it's a good, fun job. I work from home all the time now, which is great. And yeah, that's what I do, really.
Yeah, it's good.
There's not much I'd rather do, really, to be honest. I mean, I'd like to make my own proper game and work for like doing a cool game, sometime. That's sort of my ambition. But failing that, it's not a bad way of doing things. It's quite low stress, generally speaking. Doesn't have a lot of overtime and things like that required. So it's good. I enjoy it.
That must be an odd feeling.
Yeah,
I'm
quite I am lucky, because there's
not much I'd rather do for a job. I mean, that's such an alien concept.
I am very lucky to do that. I just sort of fell into it, really. I don't know, because I did that sort of thing at uni, and then I just kind of got lucky with like a placement doing that sort of thing, and I've changed jobs doing the same sort of thing, and it's just sort of the niche I fell into, really, because it's not like something that a lot of people do, really. So yeah, hopefully I can do it for as long as I can.
Yeah, cool. That's a really nice email from him, though.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that kind of answers his questions, really. But if there's anything anyone else wants to know, write in and tell us. Yeah, I did offer him a game from my Humble Bundle library that I didn't want, but he said he didn't. I didn't need to send him one, so I haven't done. But if anyone else is interested in a discarded game, or a game that I already have from my library from my Humble Bundles,
did he mean it though?
Well,
because it's like,
he might have been.
Come on, let me give you the money back for the cinema ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's just politeness. But really, they mean, all right, come on, cough up.
But anyway, so I feel a bit awkward now. Christ. If anyone, okay, I'm gonna assume that he doesn't actually want a discarded old Steam game. But if anyone else does, you can email. Or if you just want to get in touch, please email us. Ideally, tell us what you listen to us on and how long you've been listening, because that's the kind of thing I like to know about, because I'm a bit nosy. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything you think about the show? Any questions? Anything like that? And then I'll happily dig out. I haven't actually listed them. I haven't actually gone through my Humble Bundles yet and listed out all the games that I've got to offer. But I will do that at some point, and I'll send you a list, and you can pick one. Any game you want, you can have it for the Steam code. How about that?
Can't say fairer than that.
So yeah, that's an incentive. So yeah, that's always open. Do that anytime you want. So that our email is podemup@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @podemup, and podemup.live is our website. Okay. I think that wraps it up, doesn't it?
And remember, if Ollie says, "Do you want a Steam key?" you say yes.
You say yes.
Because the minute you say, "No, don't worry about it," he's like, "Oh, okay, fine." You said, "Don't worry about it." You said, "Don't worry about it," so I'm not sending it. You said you didn't want one.
Yes,
so,
if you actually want one, you've got to be clear with me. You need to say yes, please. I'll have the Steam key.
Unambiguous is the key.
Yeah. Otherwise, because I'm not good at reading people clearly.
No. We should set up a PO box as well, so people can send their pogs to me. Thinking about it.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I've got some Sonic pogs somewhere, but you're not having those. I like them. I don't know where they are, but I want to keep.
You don't even know where they are. See?
No, I don't know where they are.
They could live here in a nice little folder with all their friends. Nice little pockets that they go in. Got them all organised. But no, they're in your loft somewhere.
No, they're at my mum's.
Away, probably eaten by a rat.
Probably, yeah. They're at my mum's house somewhere. If I find them, I might consider sending them to you.
See?
I might. If I'm feeling in a good mood, you might be able to have them.
You're a good egg. Anyway.
Right. Ends on a slightly awkward note there.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'll send them to you. Don't worry about it. I'll send them. If I find them, if I ever do find them, I'll send them to you.
I'm being unambiguous here. I want them.
You do.
It's on the record. I want them.
It's on the record now. All right. Yeah, you can have them. Sure.
Why not? Thank you.
I wouldn't do anything with them anyway. They'd just stay in their little tube, and I wouldn't look at them like I do with all my stuff. They just stays on a shelf somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, so
podemup.live.
Podemup.live is our little website. Yeah, go back and listen to any show that you want. They're all there. They're all on any client of your choice. I think we're still on Google Podcasts.
I don't know.
The other Podemup still haven't posted a new episode in a long time, so I think we're the undisputed champs there. So no more worries there. Yeah. So so the next episode is episode 50. We're going to be doing 2 games, I think.
Yeah, 2 games.
2 games. So we're going to be doing Overblood 2, and we're going to be doing Jet Set Radio Future.
It's going to be a slobber knocker.
It's going to be a slobber knocker of an episode. Yeah, check it out. All right, so we'll see you then.
All right, bye.
Bye.